What's good, y'all? Since Alexander Volkanovski won his belt back against Diego Lopez this past weekend, it gave me an idea for some quick videos for you guys. So, with that being said, even though there's only been 5 featherweight champions in the history of the UFC, Alexander Volkanovski being the first ever 2-time featherweight champion, I figured I would make my top 5 dream fights in that weight class. Some are going to be champions, some are going to be interim champions, and others are going to be guys that fought for the title. And if you want to see more videos like this in other weight classes, let me know in the comment section. At number 5, I gotta go with Jose Aldo versus Ilia Topuria, Como Un Budo, Ilia Topuria. That fight would have been such a great kickboxing fight. I don't know who would have won that fight, but prime, remember, all these fighters are in their prime. Some of these fights can still happen. Some of these fights will probably never happen, but they're just fun to think about. Prime versus prime, I don't know who wins that fight. Aldo and his leg kicks were absolutely terrifying. Ilia and his knockout power, absolutely terrifying as well. I'd have to go with Ilia on that. Number 4, I like this fight mainly because they had beef. Yair was the interim champion in the featherweight division. Yair Rodriguez, Ilia Topuria. That build-up for that fight would have been insane. Not one takedown attempt would be made in this fight, but I think if there were to be a takedown attempt, it would be on Ilia Topuria's part, and I think he would get the job done. But I would not be surprised if Yair would get the job done. And you can make an argument that Yair is still in his prime. Number 3, I have to go with Conor McGregor versus Frankie Edgar. I know Frankie Edgar was the lightweight champion and fought for the featherweight belt many times down there at featherweight, but this fight was supposed to happen. And even in Conor's prime in 2015, had Frankie Edgar won the interim belt against Jose Aldo in 2016 at UFC 200, that fight would have probably happened. But since he didn't, Conor didn't want to go back down to featherweight, and he went and fought Nate Diaz instead. But the idea of that fight and the movement of Frankie Edgar and the power of Conor McGregor, it would have been such a great stand-up fight. And how would have Conor dealt with the wrestling of Frankie Edgar? That was a fight I definitely wanted to see back then. At number 2, I have to go with this fight, Conor McGregor versus Ilia Topuria. Conor and Ilia are on this list a lot, and that's due to the lack of champions that this division's had, because every single champion that they've had the division in a chokehold, no pun intended. That fight would have just been awesome. Everyone wants to see that fight. Prime Conor, prime Ilia. And at number 1, I have to go with Alexander Volkanovski versus Conor McGregor. Think about it. Volkanovski is the greatest featherweight of all time. Beat Max Holloway 3 times. Beat Jose Aldo, albeit Jose was kind of on the back 9 of his career. And he beat many other legends of the division. Chan Sung Jung, Brian Ortega, guys who should have beat him. He went out there and absolutely destroyed them. So with that being said, Conor McGregor didn't lose in that division at all. He was 7-0 in that division. You can make the argument that he's the greatest featherweight of all time, but nobody will because so many people hate Conor McGregor. Why not have Conor McGregor, Alexander Volkanovski to figure out who is the greatest featherweight of all time? Boom, mic drop, I'm out.